pushing Democrats to blow up long-standing Senate filibuster rules so that his party can ram through so-called voting rights legislation. The plan would nationalize elections, and Republicans are blasting it just as a desperate ploy to help Democrats in the midterms.
Jim Crow 2.0 is about two insidious things: voter suppression and election subversion. I've been having these quiet conversations with the members of Congress for the last 2 months. I'm tired of being quiet. Today, I'm making it clear, to protect our democracy, I support changing the Senate rules, whichever way they need to be changed to prevent a minority of senators from blocking action on voting rights. At consequential moments in history, they present a choice. Do you want to be on the side of Dr. King or George Wallace?
What a puppet. But guess who couldn't be bothered to show up? Stacey Abrams, another left-wing activist, decided to snub Biden's event. The activist saying they've had enough of speeches and photo ops, but Biden doesn't seem to think there's any bad blood between him and Abrams. Listen.
Are you insulted she's skipping the speech?
I'm insulted you asked the question. I spoke with Stacey this morning. We have a great relationship. We got our scheduling mixed up. I've talked with her at length this morning. We're all on the same page, and everything's fine.
Dana, do you get your scheduling mixed up with the President of the United States?
I would say, when the President of the United States says, I'll be there tomorrow at 10, you drop everything
right,
so that you can be there, especially if it's your signature issue.
Yeah.
This is the issue. Remember, she never conceded that she had lost in the Georgia election. And she's been traveling the country on a speaking tour to try to drive this message home. In fact, arguably, she has done a lot more to try to advance this issue than Biden and Harris have done. And now, at the last minute, because Build Back Better didn't work out, and the left wing is freaking out, and you have Michelle Obama weighing in, you have the administration without ever having given the American people a speech about why this needs to happen. Today, when the president says, I'm tired of being quiet, he yelled the entire time. And while he's doing that, the NAACP, for example, they're putting out statements saying, you haven't done enough. So here's what's going to happen. Once again, strategically, they've overpromised. They are going to underdeliver. Midterm elections are about turning out the base. Forget about the Republicans being in opposition. The fact that the Democrats can't even work together on this, and that Stacey Abrams in Georgia had a scheduling conflict. I can't imagine what that phone call was like between, Ron Klain, perhaps the chief of staff, and Stacey Abrams' office. And then I'm sure that Biden and Stacey Abrams had a nice little chat today, but you notice she didn't change her schedule. I mean, what was so pressing that she couldn't be there with the president today? Last thing I would point out is there's some students in Arizona at one of the colleges who have said they're going to go on hunger strike until this law is passed and the filibuster is changed. So keep your eye on that.
Oh, God, I hope they had a big dinner before they announced that. Greg, maybe Stacey Abrams was writing another one of her erotic novels.
Oh, God.
She couldn't be bothered.
I have all of them at home. Original copies, I might add. Anyway,
you mentioned at the top of the show about how, this just seems ridiculous in light of everything else that's going on in the country.
Yeah, and it's just great when he mentions George Wallace, because whose side was George Wallace on? He was on Joe Biden. Joe Biden bragged about the fact that George Wallace liked Joe Biden. I don't know why the activists are so upset about Joe, because moderate Joe is dead. He's buried. What you saw up there was some guy who wants to federalize elections. He's splitting the country in half with divisive, ear-splitting rhetoric, like a dementia-riddled transient shouting at clouds. And it's all for something that I don't think he's going to be able to pass with 48 votes. Speaking of which, how can he keep redefining majority as minority? How does one side with more votes than you become a minority? I don't get that. And what voting rights are we talking about denying? As far as I know, if you're an American citizen and you're of a certain age, you can vote. Unless you want to get really specific, is he talking about a murderer who doesn't have an ID? Because I want to know who we are denying, how hard, why it sounds to me that we're all about getting it easier, getting people to vote, making it easier. And now, finally, we got to look at our Republican patsies who got played by the Dems, with his January 6th anniversary. I'm wondering, next year, how are they going to use January 6th again? What catastrophe will the next anniversary feed into? Will they be able to ban forms of speech because of January 6th? Will they be able to force more CRT in the schools because of January 6th? Every year, we're going to get to look forward to the use of January 6th as a ploy to create a scared population, to scare them stupid so that they're actually on the same wavelength as Joe Biden.
Take it, McDowell.
I like Greg's point. This is like Joe Biden and company are not reading what happened today. This is when you invite a lot of folks to a party and it's scheduled at a very convenient time. It's right after work. You just got to come by right on your way home. You know, it's right. It's on the bypass. You just, you know, I live in an apartment. It's next door to your office building. You can come in. I've got punch. I've got White Claw, whatever you need. Nobody showed up to Biden's party, and I'm sure that they anticipated what he was going to say. Bringing up George Wallace, can you imagine? I mean, they would be standing on stage with a steaming, flaming sack of Joe. Him talking about George Wallace, and then who, as Greg pointed out, well, he was a Democrat, but Biden once bragged about, you know, Wallace paying him a compliment, and then he always brings up like the Edmund Pettus Bridge, named after Grand Dragon and the Klan. Joe Biden gave a eulogy a little more than a decade ago for an former exalted Cyclops of the Klan, Robert Byrd. So he constantly reinforces the fact that he is old and used to be friends with racists and segregationists.
And the lie, Geraldo, from Biden is that these states cracked down on voting. No, they didn't. They just made it harder to cheat. Easier to vote and harder to cheat.
Well, Jesse, I think that what happened today was a pretty good speech that got wasted. Yes, the volume was all the way, was nailed, unfortunately. But the language, a dagger at the throat of democracy, turning point in the course of the nation, you would think that this was really, really an important thing. But what is voting rights really about? I mean, I bet most of us and most of the people watching right now have no idea what exactly is in this legislation.
I do. Can I read it to
you?
you,
Know what it's
Geraldo?
really about? Well, good.
All right,
you
here
do
we
your
go.
homework.
I'll read it. It eliminates voter ID. Election day starts 2 weeks before election, and then you get an extra week to count the votes. So election day is actually 3 weeks. They mass mail out absentee ballot applications, makes it harder to clean up the voter rolls, and you don't even need a signature on your absentee ballot, all right? And Geraldo, here's my favorite. Hold on. This is my personal favorite. You're allowed to serve food at a polling station. Can you smell the barbecue, Geraldo? I mean, I would vote Democrat if I was so hungry.
Why did you pick
give me a
barbecue? That's
cheeseburger, I'll
racist.
vote for whoever you want, Geraldo.
Right. Just because you got a primetime show doesn't mean that you get to glom my time on this program.
Yeah, you have all the time you need.
The fact of the matter is, what is this about? This is about mail-in ballots. Trump lost because of mail-in ballots because the regulations were loosened because of COVID. So you had a huge flow of mail-in ballots. I don't know if they were legitimate or not. I assume they were legitimate, most of them, because of the various reviews that took place. So it's about that, and it's about voter ID. As a member of a racial minority, and also 10% Native American, I resent the notion that people like me are too incapable of getting a voter identification, getting an ID card. Why doesn't everyone in this country, if you're talking about nationalizing elections, if nationalizing elections means that everybody gets a voter ID, maybe with your Social Security card number written on it, everybody should have an ID. Everybody in this country should have an ID. And if you have an ID, you should be able, and you're a citizen of this country, and you have the residency requirements established, you should be able to vote. Now, mail-in ballots, the problem with that is harvesting ballots. And if they send them to everybody, you're going to have some slickster going door to door and saying, hey, Molly, did you fill in your mail? Give me your ballot. Or you didn't fill it in. I'll help you fill it in. It's hard. That's a danger. Right. And I think the Republicans are right to oppose.
Well, this is a pro-harvesting bill, and it's not going to pass. and that's a fact.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.